The film opens with a man named Gorr wandering through an arid wasteland with his sick daughter. Gorr carries the girl until she dies in his arms. Later, he comes across a paradise with food and water that belongs to the god Rapu. Gorr is the last of Rapu's disciples and asks the god for help. Rapu dismissively rejects Gorr and Gorr disowns him. Gorr is then called by the Necrosword, a weapon that can kill gods and has just been taken from another being who tried to kill the gods. Gorr accepts the call of the Necrosword and kills Rapu. He then vows to kill every single god. Korg tells a group of Asgardian children the legend of Thor, who grew up in battle and became a legendary hero, saving the world many times but also losing many people close to him, like his mother Frigga and of course Loki. Since his last adventure, Thor has returned to form and has had many adventures with the Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord, Drax, Mantis, Nebula, Rocket, and Groot. Korg finds that Thor is hiding a lot of emotional pain behind his rough exterior, as he still misses the love of his life, Jane Foster. Thor and the Guardians arrive on a planet overrun by bird-like invaders. Thor wields the Stormbreaker and flies into battle, while the Guardians also shoot and lift heavy loads. After Thor destroys all the invaders and their ships, the King of the Land gives Thor and the Guardians two giant screaming goats. Back on Earth, Jane has been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. While she undergoes chemotherapy, she is assisted by Darcy Lewis. Dr. Eric Selvage is also trying to help, but the outlook is not good for Jane. Seeking further help, she explores Asgardian magic and learns that Mjolnir may be the key to her salvation. In New Asgard, Valkyrie reigns as king, and the place has become a tourist attraction, complete with its own theater troupe of actors who reenact Thor's adventures. Jane goes to a museum where the fragments of Mjolnir are on display. The pieces seem to glow and react in Jane's presence. As the team flies away to try to tame the goats, they receive a distress signal from Lady Sif, who calls Thor and seems to be in a big fight. Knowing that they may be dealing with a bigger threat than they realize, Thor decides to separate from the Guardians. He takes Korg with him and uses the power of the Stormbreaker to open the Bifrost and travel to Sif's location. Thor and Korg arrive in an icy land where they find the skeleton of a creature called Falagar. Thor finds Sif wounded, missing an arm, and he believes she is ready to die. She tells Thor about Gorr and how he is after the gods, earning him the name Slayer of the Gods. They teleport back to New Asgard, where Gorr and his minions, the Black Berserkers, are attacking the Asgardians. Thor uses the Stormbreaker to crush the monsters, while Korg carries Sif to safety. In the midst of the battle, Thor rejoices when he sees Mjolnir approaching until it returns to Jane, now wearing armor as the mighty Thor. Thor is amazed to see her there. Korg continues his story with a brief flashback to Thor and Jane's relationship. After their earlier adventures, they began a serious relationship, but due to Thor's exploits and Jane's scientific studies, they could not maintain the relationship and had to part ways. Nevertheless, Thor is happy to see Jane again. Then Gorr has his monsters capture the Asgardian children and imprison them far from home. The heroes receive a projected image of Axel, the son of Heimdall. With Thor's help, he manages to show Thor that the children are being held captive in the Shadow Realm. Thor decides to team up with Jane, Valkyrie, and Korg to summon other gods to help. The team travels to the City of Omnipotence, where all sorts of gods gather. The four disguise themselves and watch the grand entrance of Zeus, which Thor leads as inspiration. But Zeus quickly turns out to be an idiot, interested only in orgies and not in the welfare of the gods. He catches Thor and exposes him, forcing the other three to reveal themselves. Thor tells Zeus and the gods about Gorr and his threat to attack them all, but although Zeus tacitly acknowledges the danger Gorr poses, he tells Thor that he cannot be bothered to help them or even lend them his lightning to help. Zeus also says that Gorr will not reach eternity, which Valkyrie tells Jane is a cosmic being that can grant a wish to anyone who summons it, meaning that Gorr will use his wish to kill all the gods at once. Thor and his friends fight Zeus' guards, but Zeus strikes Gorr and shatters his body, but does not kill him. Thor takes revenge by hurling Zeus bolts through his chest. Korg summons the goats to return their ship to take them away from there. On the way to the Shadow Realm, Thor sees that Stormbreaker is apparently jealous of the attention Thor is giving Jane, whereupon he assures the Axe that they are still a couple. Thor and Jane also talk and seem to rekindle their romantic feelings for each other. The ship then reaches the Shadow Realm, where everything is without color. Jane hurls Stormbreaker into space, knowing that Gorr will use the Bifrost to find eternity. Gorr finds it and fights Thor, Jane, and Valkyrie, with Gorr wounding Valkyrie. Gorr threatens to kill both Jane and Valkyrie if Thor does not summon the Stormbreaker, leaving him no choice but to do so. Thor grabs the axe, opens the Bifrost, and tries to escape with Jane and Valkyrie, but Gorr catches Stormbreaker just as they are being teleported. Jane is left without her armor and has become weaker and sicker. Jane is taken to a hospital, where Thor learns that her continued use of Mjolnir is killing her faster. Although she wants to help Thor fight Gorr, he tells her that he loves her and wants her to be alive. She relents and lets Thor go off on his own. Thor receives Zeus' thunderbolt from Valkyrie and sets out to face Gorr. Gorr takes the children to Eternity, where he lays down Stormbreaker to begin the process. Thor arrives and fights Gorr with all of his strength, but Gorr begins to overpower him. Jane senses this and uses Mjolnir one more time to defeat Gorr and help Thor free Stormbreaker. Thor also temporarily grants the children the ability to use their own weapons in battle against the Black Berserkers. With their combined powers, Thor and Jane destroy the Necrosword. But the gateway to Eternity is open. Before Gorr can make his wish, Thor tells him that he does not want revenge but love. Thor chooses love over fighting Gorr, preferring to spend his last moments with Jane, who is dying. Gorr must realize that he will die due to his continued corruption by the Necrosword, and he uses his wish to see his daughter one last time. Thor remains by Jane's side, reaffirming their love for each other and giving her one last kiss as her body decays. Gorr spends one last moment with his daughter and asks Thor to take care of her before he dies. Korg ends his story by saying that Jane's sacrifice has made her a hero and Asgardian legend. Valkyrie returned to rule Asgard, using Sif's help to teach the children self-defense. Korg regained his body and found a male mate of his kind. Thor now raises Gorr's daughter as his own and names her Love, and it turns out she is just as strong as he is. They leave their home to face an incoming threat together, with Korg saying they are known as Love and Thunder. In the mid-credits scene, it is revealed that Zeus is still alive and plotting revenge against Thor. It leaves this task to his son Hercules. And in the post-credits scene, Jane's spirit is greeted by a familiar face, Heimdall. He welcomes her to Valhalla, the land of the gods.